Hello, Sally Henderson, High Stakes Leadership Mentor. I wanted to do a video on a topic that I'm incredibly passionate about, one that we often don't talk enough about actually, and that's the dark side of coaching and mentoring. I am passionate that when people work with a coach and or a mentor, it must be the right fit, it must be for the right reasons, and must provide an absolute return on investment. Now I'm going to share a story which might surprise you, which is when I chose a toxic mentor. You'd think, given what I do for a living, that that would be the last thing I would ever do, but you'd be wrong, because it's always about cobbler's children's shoes. And a few years ago, before COVID hit actually, I was in a place where I thought, gosh, where's my business going? It had hit a bit of a block. I felt a bit stuck. I felt quite lonely. And also I felt something really important to recognise. I felt bloody vulnerable. And I therefore thought, great, I want to walk the walk, get a mentor, someone who can help me grow my business. So I was specifically looking for business mentoring, not leadership mentoring, and not coaching either. I definitely wanted that advisory approach. And I saw a few people I knew in the industry working with a certain firm. I won't name and shame because there's no point in that. But I did all the kind of onboarding. I went to their events, and I'm a saleswoman. I'm an ex-headhunter. I saw all the tricks and techniques being used, and I had my radar up. I thought, this is a very, very sales-led organisation. Are they really right for me? And here's the thing as well. Here's the lowest point that I think happened, was that my mother, very sadly, was diagnosed with bowel cancer. Right in this moment of me thinking, what am I doing? That was like the biggest sucker punch to my heart, to my gut, to my entire being. Good news is she's one of the lucky ones. She made it through. But even when that happened, I just found out, and I was in London, and this company called me with their salesperson, and they were the first person who happened to call me after I got the news. And so I sort of just, tears came. I said, how are you? And I said, oh, actually, I'm really not very good because I've just had the news that my mum's being diagnosed with bowel cancer. And do you know what they did? They used that in their sales strategy. And I could see it. And I knew it. But even though I was disgusted that they would use that as a tactic to sell to me, do you know what? I still went ahead. Idiot. Because I was vulnerable and because I was just a bit desperate for getting some help. And actually, do you know what? Let's put this in context. My business was doing fine as well. It wasn't failing. It just wasn't moving as I wanted it to. And so I started working with this mentor, and the fit wasn't great from the get-go. And hands up, I should have been more honest about owning that. There's always two relationships in a mentoring coaching relationship. However, equally, they should have owned it better because I was their client. Long story short, it was a disaster. They gave me really bad advice. They gave me counterintuitive advice, which I've proved wrong by how my business has flown since then. But it really stung me, and I called it out. I wasn't having this behaviour, and I'm a great believer in integrity. And if you say you're going to do something, do something. And they backtracked on some promises they'd made, and so I took it all the way I could and got them to own that. But at high cost to myself, and at a time when really I should have been focusing just on my mum and on my business. But I share this story as a warning to make sure that when you work with a mentor or a coach, you're doing it for good reasons and you trust your instincts. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. So I always have a chemistry call with anyone I'm going to work with to give us both that equal opportunity to say, do you know what? You're great, but we're not right. So if you're looking to hire, to appoint a coach or a mentor, that's a very personal relationship. Make sure you listen to your gut. I didn't, even though I do it for a profession, because of all the reasons that I've shared with you. Now, good news is I've come out trillion times stronger as a result, and my business has had amazing help from incredible mentors since then. And as I said, it was a huge growth step for me, and one that has turned out to be very positive. But it also cost a shed load of money as well. So this is just an honest story sharing to support anybody out there who's thinking of getting a mentor or coach for you. Do your homework. Make sure you're in the right emotional state so you attract the right support for the right reasons. If you have any doubts or niggles, God, listen to them. Listen to them in stereo. They are telling you something. And if it's not working, speak up. Take action quickly and make sure you have got a partner who is going to always put your needs ahead of their own business's needs. Because if that's not absolutely categorically upfront, your relationship will never flourish. Okay? So, some honest sharing, what would Brené say, some vulnerability. But I just hope it protects anybody out there from making the wrong decision, and that you will find an incredible mentor or coach, whatever advice or guidance you're looking for, and that if I can share my mistakes, it's made you that bit stronger. Take care. Bye for now.